Baby arrival time. The moment we've all been waiting for. Jake and Katsuki are going to be parents. I can't wait to see their reactions to the new baby and see how they handle the responsibilities of raising a child together. It's going to be a challenging but rewarding journey for them both. Let's see what happens next. Jake and Katsuki were a bundle of nerves and excitement as they awaited the arrival of their first child. Months of preparation had culminated in this single moment, and they were overflowing with anticipation to meet their little one. The nursery was picture perfect, decorated with love and care, and everything they needed was meticulously organized. As they held hands in the waiting room, a mix of emotions swirled within them. They were eager to become parents and shower their child with love, but a hint of trepidation lingered about the unknown challenges of parenthood. Yet, their determination to raise their child in a loving and nurturing environment outweighed any anxieties. They were ready to embrace the sleepless nights, the endless diaper changes, and the immense responsibility that came with parenthood, as long as it meant seeing their child thrive. This was the start of their journey as a family, and they were prepared to face it together, hand in hand. Katsuki squeezes Jake's hand tightly and says, "Me too. It's so strange to think that this is finally happening. We're going to be parents. We're going to have a baby. It's a little scary, but it's also so exciting. I can't wait to see our child and hold them in my arms for the first time." Katsuki smiles and says, "Right? It's going to be so amazing. We're going to be the best parents ever. We'll take such good care of him and make sure he has everything he needs, and he'll be so precious. We'll love him so much and never let anything bad happen to him. We'll protect him with our lives." Katsuki nods his head and says, "I know. The waiting is the hardest part. But we have to be patient. It's going to take a while for Sarah to give birth. We just have to trust that she's doing okay and that everything will be fine. And we have to keep in mind that the baby will be here soon enough and we'll be able to meet him. We just need to stay positive and keep our minds off the waiting." Katsuki notices Jake's nerves and tries to comfort him. "Hey, it's going to be okay. Just try to relax and take deep breaths. Sarah is in good hands, and she'll be okay. The doctors and nurses are trained for this, and they know what they're doing. We just need to wait and trust that everything is going to be fine. We can't do anything else right now except wait, so let's try to stay calm." Jake and Katsuki smile and follow the doctor to the room where their baby is. They're filled with excitement and anticipation to finally meet their son. As they enter the room, their hearts skip a beat when they see him under the UV lights. Katsuki walks up next to Jake and looks down at the baby. His eyes are filled with awe and love as he gazes at their child. He gently touches the baby's tiny fingers and says, "He's so adorable. He looks so tiny and precious. We did it, babe. We have our little boy." Katsuki takes the baby in his arms and holds him carefully. The baby is so small and delicate. He looks at Jake and says, "Look at him, babe. He's so beautiful. We really did it." Katsuki smiles warmly and says, "I know. It's a truly special moment. I can't believe we're finally holding our baby boy. I feel so blessed and grateful that we were able to have this child. I love you so much, babe. Thank you for being a part of this journey with me." Katsuki laughs and says, "Sure, you can take a picture, but only if you promise to let me take a picture of you holding him too. We both need to remember this special moment." Katsuki smiles and holds the baby close, making sure to keep his arms steady. He waits for Jake to take the picture. Katsuki smiles as he looks at the picture. The baby is so tiny and adorable in his arms. He can't believe that this is his child. He looks at Jake and says, "It is adorable. We have such a beautiful baby. I can't wait to take him home and start our new life together as a family." Katsuki and Jake look at each other and smile. They are both filled with a sense of pride and joy as they prepare to sign the paperwork and officially make the baby theirs. Katsuki takes the pen and says, "We're going to make such good parents. We've been waiting for this moment for so long and now it's finally here. Let's give him the best name possible." Katsuki laughs and says, "Alex is a great nickname. I think we should go with that. It's short and easy to say, and it's a good representation of both of us. So let's make it official. We're going to name our baby Alexander Bakugo." Katsuki smiles as he looks at the birth certificate and sees the baby's name written down. He feels a sense of pride and satisfaction, knowing that he and Jake have officially given their baby a name. The baby is now officially a Bakugo, and he can't wait to bring him home and start their life together as a family. Katsuki nods his head and says, "Okay, that's fine. We're just happy that he's healthy and that everything went well. We're glad he's okay, and we're excited to bring him home tomorrow. But we'll be here to see him and make sure he's doing okay while he's here. Katsuki smiles and says, "That's great. We'll stay here and watch over the baby together. We'll make sure he's comfortable and taken care of. And it'll be nice to spend some time together as a family before we bring him home. Thank you for being so accommodating, Doctor." Katsuki nods his head and says, "Thank you, Doctor. We'll be sure to call you if we need anything. We appreciate it." Katsuki sits down next to Jake and leans over to look at the baby with him. He can't help but feel overwhelmed with love and joy as he gazes down at his son. The baby is so tiny and precious, wrapped up in the soft blanket and resting peacefully in Jake's arms. Katsuki nods his head and says, "Me too. I can't believe that we have a child now. We're finally parents. It's such a special and amazing feeling, and I'm so happy that it's with you. You're going to be such a great father." Katsuki notices the tear and wipes it away gently from Jake's face. "Hey, don't cry. Everything is going to be okay. We're going to be great parents. We're going to love him and take care of him. And we're going to make sure he's happy and healthy. So please don't be upset. We're here for you, and we're going to do this together." Katsuki smiles and says, "I know, it's overwhelming, but just look at how peaceful and cute he is. It's so hard to believe that he's our baby. But we did it. We're parents now, and it feels amazing." Katsuki is captivated by the baby's eyes and smiles. He can't help but feel a sense of wonder as he watches the baby wake up and look at them. The baby's eyes are so beautiful and full of life, just like his dad's. Katsuki can't take his eyes off the baby as he gazes back at him with a gentle smile. Katsuki's heart breaks a little as he sees the baby starting to cry. He gently lifts the baby up and holds him close, trying to comfort him. "It's okay, little one. Don't cry. We're here. We're going to take care of you. Don't worry, Daddy's here." Katsuki rocks the baby gently in his arms, trying to soothe him. He whispers to the baby, "Shh. It's okay. Daddy's here. We're not going to let anything happen to you. Just let it all out. I'm here for you." Katsuki nods his head and takes the bottle from Jake. He looks at the baby and says, "Are you hungry, little one? I have something for you. I'll feed you and make sure you're nice and full. Don't worry, Daddy's here. It's okay." Katsuki continues to watch the baby as he drinks the milk. He feels a surge of joy as he sees the baby sucking on the bottle and making those adorable sounds. It's a precious moment, and he can't help but feel overwhelmed with love and joy as he watches his son. Katsuki smiles and follows Jake's instructions. He gently lifts the baby up and holds him over his shoulder. He starts patting his back and says, "There you go. Let it all out. You need to burp." Katsuki chuckles softly as he hears the burp coming from the baby. He wipes the little bit of spit up off of the baby's mouth and says, "It's okay. It's normal. You just had a little bit of milk. You're okay now. Daddy's here. Just relax." Katsuki laughs softly and says, "Yeah, I know. But it's part of being a parent. We just have to deal with it. It's a messy job, but it's worth it. Let's get to work." Katsuki nods his head and says, "Okay, we'll do that. Thank you for the advice. We'll make sure to get it all cleaned up and then put some powder on his bottom before we put the diaper back on. We'll take care of it." Katsuki starts to change the baby's diaper, being careful not to touch the mess. He's a little nervous and a bit grossed out, but he knows it has to be done. He tries to keep his composure and stay focused on the task at hand. Jake helps out by getting the powder and everything else ready for when they finish changing the diaper. Katsuki looks up at the nurse and says, "Of course. We're here to answer any questions you have about the baby. What is it that you want to ask?" Katsuki and Jake exchange a look, and then Katsuki says, "We hadn't really thought about it. What do you think, Jake? Should we get him circumcised? Or do you think it would be better if we didn't?" Katsuki thinks for a moment, and then says, "I guess it would be okay. I've never really thought about it before either, but I guess it's pretty common for boys to get it done. And we are both circumcised, so it would make sense for the baby to get it done too. But I'm not sure if it's something that we have to decide right now. What do you think?" Katsuki nods his head and says, "Yeah, I think it's best to do it now while he's still young. He won't remember it, so it won't be too traumatic for him. I think we should definitely get it done. Do you agree, Jake?" Katsuki smiles and says, "Thank you. That's good to know. We'll make sure he's okay and that he recovers properly. We just want the best for our baby." Katsuki nods his head and says, "We both do. We're going to be the best parents we can be, and give him all the love and care he needs. We're going to be there for him every step of the way." Katsuki can't help but smile at the baby's cuteness. He's so happy that the baby is clean and he's smiling now. He says, "Yeah, he's so cute. I can't believe we have such a beautiful baby. We're so lucky." Katsuki laughs and says, "They are! I can't wait to count them and kiss them all." And his smile, "It's so precious. I just want to hug him and never let go." Katsuki nods his head and says, "Yeah, it seems like everything is going smoothly. We have everything we need for the baby, and the hospital has everything we need as well. It looks like we're ready to bring him home tomorrow. We're going to be great parents. I can feel it." Katsuki looks at Jake with a concerned look on his face and says, "What is it? What did you forget?" Katsuki laughs and says, "Oh no, you're right. We need the car seat to take the baby home. Do you want me to go get it now, or should we wait until tomorrow?" Katsuki smiles and says, "That's okay. I'll stay here with the baby. I'd rather be here with him right now. You can go get the car seat and then come back. That way we can get it ready for the baby to go home." Katsuki stays at the hospital with the baby, waiting for Jake to come back. He's still feeling a little overwhelmed by the whole experience, but he's also filled with joy and excitement. He can't wait to bring the baby home and start their new life together as a family. Katsuki nods his head and says, "That's a good idea. I'll definitely want to keep him warm and cozy when he sleeps. I'll follow your instructions and wrap him up like a burrito. I want to make sure he's comfortable and happy." Katsuki smiles and says, "Aw, he is so cute. I can't believe we made something so precious. And you're right, he does look like a little burrito. I'm going to make sure he's nice and cozy when he sleeps. Thank you for teaching me how to swaddle him." Katsuki nods his head and says, "You're right. We don't want to spoil him too much. He needs to learn to sleep on his own. We'll put him in the bassinet and make sure he's comfortable. And if he wakes up and cries, we'll be here to comfort him, but we'll let him sleep on his own as much as we can." Katsuki nods his head and says, I'll be careful with his diaper and clothes. I'll make sure I fold down the top of the diaper so it doesn't touch the umbilical cord. And I'll wrap him up gently and carefully to make sure he's comfortable and not in any pain. Katsuki smiles and says, "Thank you for all your help. We'll be sure to take good care of the baby. I'll call you if we need anything." Katsuki smiles and says, "Thanks for getting the car seat. Now we're all set to bring the baby home tomorrow." Katsuki laughs and says, "I know, right? He's so adorable. I love seeing him wrapped up like that. He looks so comfortable and safe. And I'm glad he's sleeping peacefully. It's a good sign that he'll be a good sleeper when we take him home." Katsuki nods his head and says, "Yeah, that's a good idea. That way we can just grab the car seat and the baby in the morning. And it'll be good to have it set up before we take him home. It'll save us some time and make the process easier." Katsuki Katsuki watches as Jake lays down next to the baby and watches over him. He smiles and says, "He's so cute. I can't believe we're parents now. It's a surreal feeling, but I'm so happy." Katsuki smiles and watches Jake fall asleep next to the baby. He feels so lucky and blessed to have a beautiful son and a wonderful partner. He closes his eyes and starts to drift off to sleep as well. Katsuki takes the baby and starts to change his diaper. He checks the diaper to see if it's wet or soiled, and then he starts to change it. He also prepares the bottle for the baby and gives it to him once the diaper is changed. The baby is calm and content now that he's being taken care of. Katsuki smiles and says, "I've got it. The baby is okay. He just needed a diaper change and some food. But I think he's okay now. You can hold him if you want." Katsuki watches as Jake holds the baby close and rocks him gently. The baby seems to be calming down and settling in Jake's arms. Katsuki smiles and says, "He really does seem to be calming down. I guess you're a natural with babies." Katsuki smiles and says, "Thank you. I just want to make sure that he's happy and taken care of. I'm glad you're here too. We're going to be great parents." Katsuki laughs and says, "Yeah, I guess he is. He seems to be content now that he's been taken care of. I'm glad he's happy. We're going to be the best parents for him." Katsuki notices the baby starting to get fussy again and says, I think he's hungry again. Let's give him a little more milk and see if that helps. Katsuki nods his head and says, You're right. He does seem a little gassy. I guess we should try burping him and see if that helps. Katsuki watches as Jake pats the baby's back and waits for him to burp. The baby starts to make some funny noises, and then a big burp comes out. The baby seems to be a lot more relaxed now that he's burped. Katsuki chuckles and says, Yeah, it looks like it. I guess we're going to be changing diapers for a while. But it's okay. We'll get used to it. Katsuki helps Jake by holding the baby still while he cleans up the mess. He laughs and says, It looks like we're going to be changing a lot of diapers. But it's okay. It's all part of the deal. We just have to be patient and be careful not to let the baby make a mess. Katsuki smiles and says, Good job. He looks so cute and fresh now. I think he's all set to go back to sleep. Katsuki laughs and says, Wow, that makes sense. I'm so happy we're going to have a little blonde boy. He's just so precious. Katsuki smiles and says, Yeah, he's just perfect. I can't believe we're the parents of such an adorable little boy. It still feels so surreal, but I'm so happy we get to raise him together. Katsuki smiles and says, He's so adorable when he's asleep. I just want to hold him and never let go. But I know he needs his sleep, so I'll let him rest. Katsuki smiles and says, Good morning. I can't believe it's already morning. We spent the whole night taking care of him, but I'm so glad we did. I feel like this has been the best night of my life, even though it was exhausting. Katsuki laughs and says, I know what you mean. The hospital is loud and chaotic. I'm sure he'll be much more comfortable at home. We can create a safe and cozy environment for him, and I'm sure we'll get into a routine quickly. We're just getting started as parents, but we're going to do great. Katsuki nods his head and says, Yeah, you're right. We should start getting everything ready. It won't be long before they let us take the baby home. I'm so excited to bring him home and start our new life as a family. Katsuki laughs and says, Okay, let's get everything we can. They're always giving out free stuff to new parents. And it's all for us, so we might as well take advantage of it. We can always use more baby supplies. Katsuki nods his head and says, Great. I think we've got everything we need. We're all set to take the baby home now. Let's go say goodbye to the nurses and get ready to leave. Katsuki and Jake smile at the nurse and the doctor. Katsuki says, Thank you so much. We're so excited to take him home. We'll be sure to schedule his appointment as soon as we can. We're really looking forward to taking care of him and watching him grow. Katsuki nods his head and says, Of course. Let's get him ready for the car seat. We want to make sure he's safe and secure. Katsuki looks on, making sure the straps are secure and the baby is comfortable. He smiles and says, He looks so cute in the car seat. Are you sure he's okay? Do you think he's comfortable? Katsuki smiles and says, Good, I'm glad he's comfortable. Let's just make sure he's safe and secure. I'm sure he'll sleep the whole way home. Katsuki gets in the driver's seat and starts the car. He looks over at Jake and says, I can't wait to get home. We're finally going to be able to settle in and make a real home for our little boy. Katsuki is driving carefully, trying to avoid any bumps that might wake the baby up. He's watching Jake's face and sees the peaceful expression on his face. The sun is shining through the window, and everything feels so right in this moment. It was a journey filled with ups and downs. But Jake and Katsuki have finally welcomed their beautiful baby boy into the world. They've faced many challenges, but they've always come out on top. It's a true testament to their love and dedication. I can't wait to see what the future holds for them and their family. Thanks for following along and staying with us through this heartwarming tale. See you next time.
Talkie, Dream AI, Wonder Kingdom.